Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to our channel, Financial Sense TV, where we discuss all things business, all things financial, all things investment, and all things personal development. All right. Thank you to everyone that's subscribed so far. If you're stopping by the channel for the first time, please consider subscribing and leaving a like and drop me a comment in the section. It helps the channel and it helps me too. All right. This week I want to chat with you about Bitcoin. I want to chat with you about Bitcoin because it is an intensely popular subject. All of us know about it. If you haven't heard about it, I don't know where you're living, but everyone's heard about it. All right? You cannot switch on to the internet without seeing anything about Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency for that matter. You cannot literally turn on the television onto world news without seeing Bitcoin, any news about Bitcoin. All right? But most people don't really know what it is, what cryptocurrency is, what it's about, how to get into it, how to profit from it, if there is a way of doing so. All right? And I want to create, in fact, I created this video to help some people out. Not everyone, because there's a lot of experts out there. But there's other guys who might not know what it's about and what it entails. But of course, you must remember, none of my videos constitute as financial advice. If you are looking for financial advice, then a qualified consultant, financial consultant, ought to be consulted. Okay? All right, let's get into it. I must start and say that most people ask me that when is the best time to get into Bitcoin? When's the best time to buy Bitcoin? When is the best time to invest in Bitcoin? And my answer, guys, is always the same. The best time to have invested in Bitcoin was when it was initially created, when it was initially invested. And that was back in 2008. Back in 2008, if you had invested $1,000, you would have bought Bitcoin for 0.0008 cents. A single Bitcoin cost a fraction of a cent, 8,000th of a cent. So $1,000, I'll use that as a hypothetical sum to help with getting us some perspective. Okay? If you had invested $1,000 in Bitcoin at that time and held on to your Bitcoin to today, which is 13 years, you would be a multi-billionaire. Because Bitcoin, as of yesterday, closed at $40,625. Now, the $1.2 million, or rather 1.2 million Bitcoins you would have bought with $1,000 would be worth a staggering $50 billion. 50 billion. In other words, to put that in perspective, you would be as rich as the founder of Nike, the sports apparel company. And if the price of Bitcoin had stayed at the peak, its highest price for the year, which was 64,000, you'd be worth $80 billion. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. And just to put that further into perspective, $50 billion would buy you Zimbabwe twice. $80 billion would buy you Zimbabwe 4 times. You'd be able to buy and sell my country 4 times if you had invested $1,000 in Bitcoin in 2008 and kept it to this very day. It's amazing, isn't it? But we don't really understand what Bitcoin is, isn't it? The majority of us, I know a number of people are clued in, they know what it is, but some folk generally do not know what it is. And these are the ones that the video is for. Because not all investments are for everyone. All right? So Bitcoin essentially is a digital currency, right? That is meant to change the way that we transact without the need for a third party like a bank, a commercial bank, or a reserve bank, a central bank, as it were. Bitcoin transactions are purely digital. There is no note or a coin that denotes Bitcoin. No, it's not there. It's purely digital. That's what it is. All right. Now, with that said, Bitcoin is actually, and all cryptocurrencies for that matter, are powered by a technology called blockchain. Now, guys, you must appreciate I'm an economist and a banker. I am not a techie. So I won't even try to get into a definition of what blockchain is. But what you need to understand is that this cryptocurrency, as it were, is powered by this technology called blockchain, which in my personal view, I believe is here to stay. All right? I believe that all currencies, or rather, at least the majority of currencies from developed countries are actually going to go digital, following the lead of Bitcoin. All right? But enough of that. We'll get into it later. All right? Now, is Bitcoin an investment you should be making? Is Bitcoin something that you should be getting into? That's the object of today's video. We want to know. I would like to share with you what it is the rational or savvy person should be doing with Bitcoin, given the realities around it. But before we get into that, we've got to appreciate some of the developments that have happened. Bitcoin got a lot of strong support from a billionaire, Elon Musk, I believe it is, who it is reported bought about 1.5 billion bucks worth of Bitcoin. And then he put it on the news that his company, Tesla, would be accepting Bitcoin as a form of payment. Now, that gave a lot of wind to the sails of the Bitcoin price, and we saw it shoot up from $27,000 around December of 2020 to the highest point of $64,000. At which point, the price started to retreat when news broke that Elon Musk would not be accepting Bitcoin through his companies, and that he would not be getting involved in the cryptocurrency as much as he had done before. His concerns mainly were to do with the environmental threats posed by Bitcoin mining, and he has since withdrawn. All right. When he left, that's when we saw the price come down. It came down in a pretty steep way. That if you bought at 60 or in the $50,000 regions, you saw the price of your Bitcoins come down to around the 30s, which no doubt would have been very painful. Okay? Definitely very painful. Another development on the world stage that has affected the price of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies is the fact that China has banned Bitcoin mining. It is also not in favor of any of its financial institutions and banks participating in Bitcoin. So a lot of key developments have affected the price very adversely. However, there are a lot of people who are optimistic about it. All right, so it brings us back again to the question to say, is Bitcoin worth investing in? All right, I was just about to forget, El Salvador, the South American country, has opted to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender. So if you have Bitcoin, you can actually do your shopping in El Salvador. I'm going to preempt my message and say proceed with caution, particularly if you are a novice investor. If you are a seasoned guy, if you've got guts of steel and a stomach full of razor blades, then yeah, be our guest. But for the rest of us, take it easy. Take it easy. Proceed with caution. The robot is amber, as it were. All right. Let's move right along. There are risks with any kind of investment. That much must always be appreciated and understood. Any investment, whether it be in stocks, it be in real estate, it be in currency or derivatives, there's always going to be risk. Risk is something you learn to live with and learn to manage. You don't totally eliminate risk. But what are the risks of Bitcoin? What are they, and if they are there, how can they be managed? Pure and simple. First of all, Bitcoin is notoriously volatile. As I said, it initially sold at 0.008 cents, a fraction of a cent. And it's gone up as high as 64,000. And it's come down to around 37,000. It's gone back again to 40,000. All in 1 year, and that's one roller coaster ride, guys. I pity whoever would have bought at 60,000 and had to see it come all the way down and start to try and recover again. If your strategy is the hodl, and that's something only cryptocurrency investors have actually coined, which is to buy and to hold, then you've lost a significant chunk of your money. Bitcoin is volatile. It's volatile. Historically, it was volatile. In 2017, the price went up as high as 22,000. And coming into 2018, went down again. It retreated to around $3,000. So unless you are a daredevil and someone with a death wish financially, steer clear of it, because it is highly risky. There's the risk of cyber theft. Because as I mentioned earlier, that Bitcoin runs on a technology called blockchain, it is susceptible to cyber theft. A number of dubious markets in which people trade Bitcoin have reported things like scams, things like fraud, and what have you. So unless you are absolutely clued in and you've done your homework and you know what it is that you are doing, I would say step on the brakes. Step on the brakes. Step on the brakes. One of the biggest challenges around Bitcoin is the fact that it is not regulated. Okay? It's not regulated. Bitcoin, if you like, there are said to be 21 million Bitcoins. All right? 21 million times the price at which they are selling at puts it at anywhere between, the value of all the Bitcoins puts them at anywhere between 800 million to $1 trillion. To anyone that is savvy with financial markets, I challenge anyone watching to tell me what market is there that is worth trillions of dollars, a trillion, hundreds of billions, to $1 trillion that is not regulated. There's hardly any policy from government on Bitcoin. I know in my country where I live, the central bank banned it altogether. Commendable, given the risks involved. Profitable, no doubt, for the people who got in early, but very risky nonetheless. Is it worth losing sleep over? It's a question I'll put for you. All right? There's hardly any legal, if you like, framework around Bitcoin. So if you got into a contract and decide, or order a transaction, any transaction, and whoever you were dealing with was dishonest, how on earth would you be able to sue that person if there's hardly any regulation around it? If in other countries it's not even legal tender. You'd be out of luck. If you got into a Bitcoin deal and it went sour and it went south, you'd be totally out of luck. Think about it. These things are happening. They are happening. They are happening. El Salvador has said that the currency will be legal tender, meaning that you can transact with it there. But in the rest of the world, it's hardly been adopted. Yes, some places, some companies here and there, but not everywhere, not universally, not yet. Would you be happy to hold an investment that shoots up sky high and drops like that? I would advise caution. Yes, you can make money, others have, but I would advise caution. Elon Musk has got a lot of money, he's made money. If you don't have as much money as Elon Musk, then proceed with extreme caution. Alright guys, there will be more content around Bitcoin because it is a topical subject and it is with us to stay. But for today, I wanted to then urge my fellow investors, my fellow people, that don't try and take shortcuts unless you know what you're doing. Bitcoin is not for the faint of heart or those short of breath. God bless you. Take care. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the channel. I appreciate all of the support. Cheers.